Another random question for you. I Want My MTV by Dire Straits or Video Killed the Radio Star by the Buggles?
Definitely the Buggles video killed the radio star. If I got to hear Sting sing, I want my...
Yeah.
So especially that long version, it goes on forever. Definitely, video killed the radio star. Little factoid about that. I believe it was the very first video on MTV.
It
I'm not
was.
really sure if this is a factoid or not, if I'm right or not.
I think it's a pretty well-known factoid.
It is? Okay, well,
It
there
is,
you go.
yeah.
So,
I knew
yeah,
that.
definitely. So
All right.
welcome to Lunchbox Sociables, Season 2, episode I'm Not Sure, where we talk about things music related. I'm here with Leslie today. We're going to be discussing video production, pre-production, production on the film shoot day, and post-production.
And you're very organized with that and very methodical about how you go about doing it.
Yes, because usually there's other people involved, and I'm very conscious of other people's time. So I want to have everything nice and organized to do that. So we're going to see how I do it for amateur for amateur musicians and songwriters wanting to make their own home-based music videos.
Where do you start when you want to produce your own music video?
Well, this is all about producing your own music video, not getting a company to take care of it. Sometimes I get the idea when I'm writing the song. It can be in the recording of the song, the mixing at various different stages. I might go, oh yeah, I'm going to go this idea, or I've got that idea. I know I often start out with, I'm just going to make simple videos, just me and the guitar and the black backdrop.
You've never made a simple video in your life, Leo.
And then because I get bored, and I go, well, if I'm getting bored watching me, or watching the band or whatever, I think other people will. So I always just want to create. So I just want to have it a little bit more interesting, something to keep people entertained. I know in our world now, with TikTok and Instagram Reels and such, people have about the attention span of about 59 seconds.
Yeah.
So to get people to
Or
watch
less.
or less. So to get people to watch for 4 minutes, it's you got to entertain them. But I really enjoy making videos. It's a lot of work. At some point, I always end up hating the video and hating the song when I go, okay, it's got to be done. It's got to be done. But I really do enjoy the process.
So I think in this case, your short attention span is a bit of a superpower,
Yes.
because you're able to create things that are going to keep people engaged.
Yeah.
Because if you, like you said, if you get bored with
Yeah.
it, everybody else is going to get bored
exactly.
with it.
So and we won't talk about it too much today, but definitely in the editing episode, I like to keep the clips short. So you just, okay, 4 beats, 8 beats, 4 beats, 8 beats, sometimes 12 beats. Sometimes there's a longer one, depending if it's something that's really interesting, but normally just 4 beats.
Can you give me some examples of your imagination in your own videos?
Well, oh damn, hold on, boss. And then when I come back,
It's a little hard to keep this moving along, Mr. Short Attention Span, if you keep getting up and walking away.
oh my god, I know, I'm supposed to have my props ready. So this is probably my talk about imagination. So I hooked up I fixed a GoPro onto my remote control car for what song?
Drive
was that?
Forever?
Oh yeah, Drive Forever.
Yeah.
So it was on the road, and I would went to different places around southern Ontario and drove the car around, and there's some good shots. I'll put some in this podcast.
And you got your little Lunchbox Social decal on the car too?
Yeah. So I was I'm pretty proud of that one. Another one is we came up with it, you and I actually, one night at the Lion, of the rolling stock of having, and I'll add a clip of this, where we say, okay, how can I make it look like I'm driving, and like the Fred Flintstone, the rolling stock behind. So we use that for Drive Forever. But then I liked it so much, we did it again for Recalculating with just the Flintstones a background. But for Recalculating, just to be able to have that rolling stock, so that requires a little bit of engineering of making that that stand with the paper, and then having two people with the cranks cranking the scene behind the car while I'm driving my car.
Kind of like the old timey, illustrators from the back in the day. They would have done that, right? Yeah. And then you've used the GoPro a couple of other times as well. Like we did that shoot in the lake for She Can't Give, right?
Yes, right. That was the GoPro inside of a watertight case, and we had painted different words, although She Can't Give to Another War, painted different words on these rocks and put them in the water, and had the GoPro come across them and then come up to me. You're in the cold water. It was like October.
Oh yeah, up to my knees in the freezing cold water.
We didn't do it in July when the water was warm. No, we waited till October, and I'm up on the beach, and each time I was in a different scene. But it's like your imagination is. There was one song, "Things We Said Today," and there's 3 Leos. I got this idea, it wasn't an original idea of mine, but it was an idea I've seen other people do. I said, okay, how can I make that work with the split screen, the 3 Leos dressed up in 12 different characters? It was a lot of work that was done during the height of the pandemic. And so I did it all by myself, and it was my own personal heart of darkness. I thought I was completely losing my mind by the end of it. It was very difficult because each shot is a continuous shot, so I would have to make all those 12 costume changes in each shot. So if I made a mistake somewhere in costume change like 9, I was done. I had to start all over again, and it was another hour of filming to be able to have, because I couldn't just stop and start the camera. It has to be a continuous shot to do it. So that was my imagination gone crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think we all went a little crazy with our imaginations during that time. When you're coming up with ideas for your video, does everything relate to the song in some way?
In most of my videos, almost never. But quite often I like to throw in things that have absolutely no connection to the song, just to kind of break it up, just to have something completely different.
You mean like having someone dressed up as a banana in a scene with witches, or a T-Rex? I
like absurd humor, so I like the British style, old school British style humor of having things absolutely absurd in thrown in there. There is a Beatles, I can't think of which song, but it's circa 1965ish, and John, Paul, and George are playing their guitars, and I guess just to keep the time, the amount of time involved and the cost down, whatever, they didn't have a drum kit set up. So then on verse 2, they just had Ringo come in and get on one of those exercise bicycles, and you just see the 3 guys are playing their thing, and you see Ringo's on one of these exercise bicycles. I love that. That was just brilliant, so I like having absurd things in with the. Sometimes there's a little bit too much seriousness.
Yeah.
And
everyone needs a little bit of Bunny Hill every once in a while, right? Yeah. You also have a lot of running in your videos, like you running or other people running. Mostly you.
Yeah, it's mostly me. Well, there's a lot of rock and rollers on heroin and pot smoking and out of shape and alcoholic. So I figure that me being a runner and into good health, that might be my own little niche for rock and roll.
Yeah, that's good. And good spinal wellness. Sit up, Leo. Sit straight.
Yeah, that's right.
Before I ask the next question, what have you got going on your little side table there?
Oh, yeah. So my Christmas episode, the Christmas episode of Lunchbox Sociables, I mentioned about how much I love turtles. And, it's the closest thing to having fans. I had I had turtles sent to me by people. Like, wow. So, A, people are actually watching the podcast, and B, people love me to bring me turtles. So
I've never seen those turtle minis before.
Yeah.
Like, give some of those up.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think so.
So do you suggest having multiple shoots and multiple ideas going on?
I guess maybe not multiple shoots. It can be the same day shoot, but multiple. Like when you're on the day, plan different shots, not just the one shot. Sometimes you might set all up and you don't see something off behind till later and go, oh my God, there's a little old man way off in the distance picking his nose. Who knows what you might be seeing? So I like to have multiple shots, different angles, as many as possible. And having backup ideas for, okay, here's the main idea, but what are the other possible things that have good potential? I know in one of our songs, oh gosh, what was it? This Is Me, and we had something all planned out, and all of that did work out. But then when the sun was coming at the magic hour with the sun, we started taking some shots there, and those turned out to be some of the greatest shots. And that ended up being like even the cover, the single cover was from that time, and that wasn't the original. The original plan was something a little bit different for the band, and this is so I like to have as many possible ideas and shots.
Yeah. And sometimes technology gets in the way too, where you have an idea for a shot and you do it, and then you look back on it and go, oh, it wasn't focused properly, or
focus,
things
yes.
like that,
Yes.
right? Where
And it just, you never really know that until later. And you go, oh, I saw something, or I didn't see something. Heck, the one, what did we just do? One Man Calling, and the whole production was all about the rotating camera, and we built this big set to have the rotating camera, and in the end, the rotating camera idea didn't turn out very well. But we had done so many other things. We built the whole video around all the other clips, and they ended up being better than the rotating camera idea, which we may revisit and try and use at another time once we figure out how to make it better.
Mm-hmm. What are the other benefits of having multiple shots from multiple angles, different cameras, things like that?
Well, in the editing software, you can blend them together. It's usually called dissolve. It might have a different terminology depending on your software. But you can dissolve one scene into the next, especially if they're coming from different angles. I might have been using that before, but I know I definitely discovered it during Desperate Measures video. And we had a drone shot of me running and then turning off into the field, and then later, at a later time, we had a handy cam following me, and went into the field, and I was able to blend the two of them together, and I was really proud of that shot because it was like, wow, it made it look like the drone had kind of come down and swooped around behind me, but it wasn't that. It was the two different shots.
Mm. So then the more shots, the more clips, there's always something for the viewer to be engaged in, right?
Yeah.
But if you have something really special and it only comes up once, sort of maybe later in the video, how do you keep the viewer engaged?
What I would do is, and what I have done, is I put a little tease. So if I got something really good that I know that, oh, this scene is really cool, and it's going to come up in verse 3, or it's going to come up in chorus, the last chorus, I give a little tease of it earlier on in the song, and to just enough to, like, people are going, what the hell was that? What do we just see there? And he can't just do that one time. He's going to come back with that. So I like to put in just a little clip of that scene randomly, just to as a tease.
Just a little lunchbox snack.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you've clearly changed in your production plans?
Probably the biggest change I made over time is I always thought that if someone is singing, that's what has to be on the screen. And that really was tying my hands because Lunchbox Social songs have a lot of vocals. There isn't, 2 minutes worth of guitar playing and such. So, but now as time has gone, I go, you know what? Especially with the addition of subtitles, I go, we don't have to have the singer. If there's a good scene, there's something else that's interesting. We don't have to have the singer singing the words. He doesn't have to be shown on that clip. It could be something different. So. Yes, I've removed the need to have the singer singing during a clip.
So instead of, changing your songs to have 2-minute bass solos with Rob or something, yeah. Did you always use subtitles?
No. That got to be something that I had many requests from people. Oh, can you add subtitles? Can you add subtitles? And I got to the point. I go, yeah, they're kind of handy. I'm proud of my lyrics, so I like having the subtitles there.
They're handy for me as a viewer because, even though I've heard your songs many times in person and recorded, I can't always make out everything you're saying. So it's helpful to see. It's like, oh, that's what he's singing. Okay.
I've never had anyone say, oh, the subtitles are wrecking the video. They're down, they're small, they're there. And I think actually it might make some people even watch the video a couple times because now they know the words. Now they're going to go along and say, okay, watch it again and go, now I know what he's singing now. Now let's just see what's else is going on in the video. Yeah. So I see the benefit of the subtitles.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about how you use stock footage in your videos.
Well, I like to have the camera with me all the time and just taking, if I see something, oh, this is kind of interesting, just an interesting shot. A stock footage can be really good as a buffer in between different kinds of scenes. It can be something that's related to the song, something that's not related to the song. But I like having as much stock footage available. You never know that, oh, what do we need here? What do I need to fit in here? I remember one time there was this big army truck around, and I took some footage of this army truck. 2 years later, that worked its way into She Can't Give. I have so much stock footage of the big waves on Lake Ontario that sometimes that just works in to add tension in a song. So there's always little scenes that I'll just keep it in my little directory of stock footage. I've got you to take stock footage for me. In fact, maybe I'll superimpose some stock footage while this clip is taking place.
How do you keep track of it all and remember? Oh yeah, I've got this shot that I can use or that shot.
I have quite the directory. I have a directory of all my stock footage. Sometimes it's just general. It's walking. It's scenes, lake
the
stuff.
The folder called Leo Walking must be very, very big.
There's lots of Leo walking stock footage. So I just keep a little directory of different things, and over the years it starts to add up. But every once in a while I go, oh, I just need something, and I'll go through that. I go, yes, there we go, and that'll just fit in perfect. There's the especially if you're using green screen. Green screen is really handy if you have stock footage of just random things, and then you want to later use green screen, like in the recalculating video, where years later I use those ducks, the stock footage of the ducks going behind us, meant absolutely nothing to the song. But, well, maybe not, maybe because the ducks are all lost and they're all kind of floating around. But it was just nice to have that stock footage.
Is there anything burning a hole in your brain? You're like, oh, yes, I really want an opportunity to use this stock footage.
That's good. There is. And it's a piece of video that you took. And I don't want to give it away, but there is a piece of video, and it involves walking in a tunnel. And it's been, I got to use this. And it's been so special. Like, I had to be just the right song. There was another one of those. The running in the Ontario place. That one night that I was able to, there was no one else around. And we're inside an Ontario place, the big glass, and I used that for the beginning of oh my gosh, When Desire Calls. And it was the closest thing to like the Mod Squad, the opening scene from the Mod Squad with the running, and I had that for quite some time, and then when I finally go, oh yeah, I finally can get, so there is every once in a while there's some stock footage or some footage go, I don't know when, but this has got to get used.
So 10 years from now, there'll be a video of you, and it's like, wow, he looks really young in this.
Great, it looks great.
Yeah, and also with video these days, like you can just delete stuff that doesn't turn out the way you want it to.
Yeah.
You can try it over and over and over again. And
Like I'm the king of recording clips, all sorts of clips, until everyone around me goes, "Oh my God, enough with the videoing." So yeah, there's lots of things you can do.
so what are your thoughts on like making sets versus using sets, like settings that already exist?
I think it's much easier if you can find a setting that you can work with, that if you have access to. But there are times where you just have an idea, you go, oh, if I could just make some kind of the set, it could be interesting itself. Trying to keep the costs down, and sometimes you need to use your imagination of like, how can I make this without it getting carried away with the costs? So, for example, that big circular set we made for One Man Calling is just all 2x4s and electrical PVC to hold all the curtains up. But it had to use a little bit of imagination to what to make, but trying to keep the cost down, because it's the sets are all a one-time thing, and so I wouldn't want to expend too much money on set making. But if you've got an interesting idea, it can be a lot of fun. And for me, videos are fun. I want them fun to make and fun to watch. So I enjoy that whole process.
You still do get stressed out a little bit, though.
Oh, I get very stressed out.
Yeah.
I get
So
I get stressed out just doing this.
Is stressed out? Is it fun being stressed out? Is that what you're saying?
It's the challenge. It's always the challenge. They go, oh, okay, I got through that. And you see that as soon as I'm so stressed out the very next day. Okay, what's next?
Yeah.
What's the next thing we're going to do?
Okay, so we covered a lot of thoughts and ideas about pre-production for your videos. What is coming next in the next episode?
In the next episode, it's going to be video shoot day. What do you need to have on hand? All the preparation to actually, to make it happen. So this episode, we talked about the plans, how you're planning out a video, thoughts and ideas, letting your imagination go wild, what you might want to accomplish with the video. And the next episode, we're going to be talking about what to do on the actual day, how to set up your lighting and that on the video shoot day.
Okay, looking forward to it.
So we don't say goodbye or nothing anymore?
Goodbye, Leo.
Jeez, it's just like she's got her car's idling outside. All right, so I'll see you next episode.
See you next episode.
Bye.
Bye.